Okay, so I wanted to make a quick video here to run through a few of the features that are in the trade log spreadsheet that I made available on the netpicks.com post that I recently did. This is a trade log for a trade plan that I've been working on for Trend Jumper and the British Pound futures. Unfortunately, the trade plan needs a little bit of work, but it provides us some data to work with for this example. And what I hope you can take from this is just a few tricks on what you might need or use for a trade log, as I find that there's limited material out there for specifically for traders and Excel. But let's get into it. So you can see that there are some color-coded columns, and much of this data, not all of it, as you can see, there's some blank cells as well. Currently, for backtesting, I haven't used MAE and MFE, but we'll do later. But you can see that the first column is just a trade number, and because it's a multiple position strategy, you can see that every two rows are the same number. Then we have the values of the trade, so the position, the quantity, prices, and times of entry and exit. These you can enter manually. You can also take them from TradeStation or NinjaTrader. This is the NinjaTrader format. Then I've created two columns here with the entry name and the exit name, which is quite useful for comparison for P&L for those types of trade, which you'll see later. And in this, what I've done is a simple data validation of some named ranges, and simply put, what you need to do for that is, if you go to the lookup tab, I've created some ranges here and the name of those ranges. What you need to do to create those is you need to go to the formulas tab and define name. You can type in exit underscore name, and it does have to not have a space in it, so underscore is what you need to put in place of a space, as far as I'm aware. So then you highlight the range and you can then click OK, and you have your named range. I already have that, so I'll show you how you get the drop down list. So if you then, I'm just going to click in a different column because otherwise it will want me to delete the named list already. But if I then go to the data tab and data validation, I can add the settings, the validation criteria, as a list, and I just want to type in the named range, so equals entry underscore name, or exit underscore name in this case. And then I also put an error alert, where I just put a warning and an error message if it doesn't have data of the expected value. And the reason why this is important is because if you're inaccurate, then when you're doing your comparisons, when you're doing your pivot tables later, the data is not going to line up with itself, and therefore you'll get very spurious information. So you can see here that when you click on a cell, you just get a drop-down list. You can also overtype. That's the reason why you can put like the data warning. So if I put JL8, for example, it comes up with an invalid entry name warning. You can continue if you want to, and then you can change the range later, the named range later. But it's not essential if you just want to get the right entry at that point. It's quite a useful thing to have. So moving across, these are some of the more important information that I'm trying to get out of the data that I've put in. So I've added day of the week, and I've used day of the week is obviously going to be a useful thing to compare day of the week. For example, in something like crude oil might have a different P&L on Wednesday when inventories come out. So having the weekday formula to get the weekday out of this is useful. So you can see it's just simply equals weekday of F, and F is the entry time. And the way that I've got the day is I've done a format cell custom, and I've typed in D under type. You could type it again with 4 Ds and it does the full day, but I'll leave it like that for now. So the entry bar, I've used the floor formula embedded within the time formula. So I'm taking the time of column F, the floor of the minute of column F to the 15 minutes. So that will take, for example, 5:13 AM. It will make that 5 o'clock. And what that does is it provides a useful comparison, because obviously each time is discrete, so it's not going to be exactly the same, and therefore you need to put it in blocks to be able to compare it more easily. So then I've done the exit in exactly the same way. I've not used that yet in any way, but I've done the length of trade bar, and that's a little bit more in-depth formula, but it's fairly straightforward as well if you use logic. I've done a profit column here, which is based on it's a little bit more complicated. It's based on the position, the quantity of the position, and then if we go to the lookup tab here, and this is important to fill in, it's based on this cell, so the value of the cell, of each tick of the contract, and the tick size. So if I go back to the log, you can then see the running P&L in ticks, so that's just current profit of trade added to the last cell in the log. This is exactly the same, the equity bars, as the running P&L ticks. It's just a conditional format, bars conditional format, and again I should say that column P and column Y and column Z, they're all conditional formats, so you can find the conditional formatting on the Home tab under Styles. So then I've got the running expectancy and the streak, and I really do like this streak column that I've created. It's basically max profit, max loss, and it's just about periods, so it shows you how much drawdown and how much profit streak it goes into, and you can see that this trade plan seems quite good, although it's not been particularly successful recently. But again, I'd say that this hasn't been worked on that much in terms of the actual plan, but it's a good illustration of a few techniques nevertheless. So I'll just move on to the summary tab here and show you some of the things that I've extracted so far from the data. You can see that obviously there's going to be more than one trade a day in certain circumstances, although in many cases that didn't happen, which is one of the reasons why the size of the bar and the start and stop time were possibly a little bit off, but there should be circumstances where you have more than one trade a day, and this groups trades P&L by day. So you can also see here the P&L by entry time, so this is the 15-minute block. You can see the P&L by length of trade, and it's quite interesting here that it shows 0 to 5 minutes is reasonably profitable, 5 to 10 minutes becomes even more profitable, and then there's a dip where, and bear in mind that the data, there's not a lot of data yet, so it might not play out over a larger sample set, but you can see that there's then a dip, possibly a reversal in a trade, and then it tends to become more profitable after that dip. There's the day of week comparison as well, and it shows so far Monday's not particularly profitable. P&L by trade type, P&L by exit type, and then just a quick summary of some other bits of data. So another thing which I find that isn't always as straightforward as it seems it should be in Excel is creating a decent chart, and this is why I've put together a simple but nice illustration chart of the equity curve, and this is based on ticks, which is effectively fine. You just multiply everything by the tick value, and the expectancy. So, and I've just done a trend line there as well. So that's a nice thing to just have a look at and play with if you're unsure of, for example, putting different chart types on excuse me, on the same chart and running a secondary axis on that chart. So I'll just briefly go on to that lookup. So just to remember, these are the named ranges here that I've put in so far, and of course you can add more. And then it's important to get the right values in here for your contract. So I've used the symbol, the tick value, and the tick size. So if you want to insert a different symbol, it's very easy to do that. All you do is go into the Insert tab at the top and go to Symbol, and you will be able to find pretty much any symbol for a currency. It's not essentially just, it's a little trick that I put in to make this automatically update here, but it's a nice little example of how to do things, how syntax works, and another formula. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed that, and just remember this template is available on netpicks.com in the post, and I'll put that link in the video below. Thanks for watching.